Hello, hello. This is Nancy White, and we welcome you to the Healthy Sales Chick Show. Just like my friend Paula Fellingham says, we open our arms and open our hearts to welcome each one of you. Today, we're going to talk about a few different things. But first, I have a question for you. Are your body's cells happy and healthy from head to toe? Maybe they need a little refreshing makeover. Here, we love to talk about our healthy mind, body, and spirit. And for optimum health, we need to nourish all three every day. Our maintaining is that whole effort that we have to put in. It's not just a once and done. But our discussions are going to include attributes, tips, or suggestions for acquiring and maintaining that healthy mind, body, and spirit. But healthy living always starts in our mind. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Melissa Brazilian, medicine woman, and also Laurie Rope of Message Matters nonfiction books. These two amazing ladies also co-host their own shows that you can find on our Win-Win Women TV platform. And they were so kind and generous to help substitute for me while I was out meeting my new granddaughter. So thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Laurie, so much. Today's topic is going to be Brain Boost Episode 2 continued. Our brain is the most incredible organ in our body, and it's so complex that we could talk about it forever and still be learning something new. And we're going to talk about three different areas. One is protecting our brain physically. Two is protecting our brain emotionally. And three is protecting our brain nutritionally. And just a little review. Our brain is the most complex organ that we have. It weighs about 3 pounds. It is 60% fat. Yes, 60% fat. It is the fattest organ in our body, and it is not fully formed until about age 25. Some people will argue between men and women about, when it really is fully developed, but it also develops from the back to the front, and our brain storage is unlimited. And also a wonderful information just to know is that our brain information travels about 268 miles per hour. Talk about speed. And our spinal cord is the main source of communication between the brain and the body. Our brain, again, is about 73% water. So for all those people out there, water is really the number one thing our body needs. And we can talk about some more of that later. But our brain also uses about 20% of energy from the food and 20% of oxygen. A lot of these people that have high cholesterol and different cholesterol challenges, this is fun for you to also know. 25% of cholesterol is in our brain, and our brain even creates its own cholesterol. It's not the same type of cholesterol that's in the rest of our body. And we have about 48 thoughts per minute. Sometimes women might have a little bit more than that, but about 70,000 per day. So being safe and protecting your brain from injury is a great way to promote a fit mind. Brain injury can debilitate the brain's functioning. Sometimes we've been in accidents and have not helped it, but we're going to talk about some ways to do some preventative protection as much as possible. So you might just think, it might be common sense, but we all learn and we should all teach others, especially children. Just think about it. Everything that you know today, you have learned. And those are so important things to remember when we give other people that little bit of grace and space, or give them just, a little margin, because we're all in that learning process. So talking about sports helmets, protecting your head when you're doing certain physical activities, such as bicycling, skiing, or rollerblading, wear the appropriate helmet for your sport. Yes, there's all different kinds of helmets that protect your head in different ways, and there are different ones for different sports. And just thinking about, making sure that you find that information, you will learn more about protecting that brain physically with that protection of that helmet. Another way to protect our brain is to not smoke. Smoking will rob your body of oxygen, and oxygen is essential to our healthy brains. And studies have showed that Alzheimer's is twice as likely to occur in smokers as in non-smokers. We also need to avoid heat stroke. You think that would be common sense, but sometimes we get overheated and everything, and we don't find or feel those symptoms until we're already in trouble. And so just, if you're going to be out in the sun, always wear a hat and stay hydrated with plenty of water, but also keep in the shade as much as possible. When you're driving, practice safe driving habits. Becoming a defensive driver. I can remember even growing up, I got to take a defensive driving course, which was very interesting at 16. And I go back and look and think, thank you, Mom, for putting me in that class, because it really did help me to be watching out for the other drivers. But also, when you're staying aware of some things, sometimes, and I know a lot of you, I have too, avoided an accident by those reactions and getting out of somebody's way. So thinking about being defensive, when you get into the car, it's not just about getting somewhere, it's getting there safely. Using handrails, going up and down steps. I know a lot of times people just run up and down the steps, and you know what? And as we mature or in bad weather, I had a friend a few years ago was downtown, and she was at the courthouse and she was going down some steps, and they did not have a handrail, and it had been raining, and she slipped and she broke her leg and broke her ankle, both of one leg and one ankle. She had to go through so many surgeries and, to be able to repair that and to get healed up again. So remember, just take that extra measure. Don't have so many things in your hands, even in your home, going up and down the steps. Use a little bit of common sense when we are on stairways. And again, there are some states that don't require a helmet for motorcycles. I really highly suggest that you do wear a helmet, even if the state does not require it. Because you think about it, it's your head in the asphalt. If you have an accident or something happens, what is protecting, what is buffering your head from hitting the pavement? So thinking about, and we have that mindset, sometimes more men than women, but you know what? It's not going to happen to us, or I'm careful, I'm going to be able to avoid anything. That's why they call it an accident. Another area to help us physically is to avoid drugs, especially some that can diminish your brain capacity. And overdosing on certain street drugs can really cause permanent brain damage. And unfortunately, we have heard about some people that have even died from some drug overdoses. So again, teach the younger generation, teach other people about the pros and the cons. And yes, they can make up their own mind, but if they don't know, they don't know. Something that over the years I have also noticed and learned about is even the repetitive head injuries, and they can cause considerable chances of long-term brain injury. We think about these young guys in sports, or even, boxers or whatever, if they keep having concussions, that's something that really does set them up for some challenges down the road. And people may or may not know, but anytime we've had a head injury, omegas are incredible for helping in that recovery, in that healing process. So if you've had a concussion, or your child or someone, find out and look about more information on getting some good, healthy omegas into their bodies. And you know what? Always wear a seatbelt. I can remember my mom, even at 96, she did not want to wear a seatbelt because it would wrinkle her clothes. But you know what? I would rather have wrinkled clothes than be thrown through a windshield or, be going from the back of the car to the front of the car. So remember that that seatbelt was created for safety, not just to be having another law that we have to obey, but wearing that seatbelt, especially with children. Sometimes we've seen children standing up in vehicles, and if that vehicle stops or is in an accident, that child has nothing to hold it back from going through a windshield or going through a window or just even having another injury. So, and we used to sing a song when my children were little. I'm not going to sing it for you, but it was Buckle Up for Safety, and they can still sing it today. Practice going around your home and looking at some home safety things, just such as using a sturdy ladder rather than a rickety or one that's just, sometimes people will stack things on top of each other to stand on them. I'm more careful now, but I remember younger, I used to get a chair and I would stand on the kitchen counter to reach something. Now I use a step stool or a ladder that's the right height. Another area is to look for scatter rugs. And my mother, I love her dearly, and she's in heaven now, but she loved different scatter rugs around for decoration. But they can also be tripping hazards, or it can slip. So just, be mindful of walking around and looking at your house from, a different perspective, a safety perspective. So it's always fun. We don't want to have so much information that we don't just stop and have fun. So this is a fun quote from Dr. Seuss. It says, "Be who you are and say how you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." So Dr. Seuss, he has a lot of great sayings and a lot of great quotes, life lessons. And just, for yourself, be who you are, be the very best you, and have people around you that love you and accept you in the highs and the lows and all the in between, because we are all here and we're not perfect. We don't have wings yet, so we're all still in this process. Another area is to reduce stress. And in this day and time, believe me, that's one of the probably number one challenges, is reducing stress and anxiety. But not only does it help keep your body healthier, it also improves our mental health and our mental wellness. So think about a few of these suggestions and ways to find stress relief and relaxation for your life. Diane von Furstenberg, isn't that a fun name? She said, "It is so important to take time for yourself and find clarity. The most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself." So when we talk about keeping in touch with our emotions, especially women, pretending that you don't have certain feelings such as anger, sadness, loneliness, it'll just push these feelings down. And believe me, women can stuff their emotions really easily. But you know what? They will come back at some time, and usually will come back with a vengeance. And a lot of women carry their emotions in their hips and their thighs. I learned this in yoga years ago. And one of the moves in yoga is happy baby or dead bug, which is, you'll have to look up that position. And it is a great way to relieve the stress from your hips and the thighs that we have pushed down all the time. I have some other fun ways to share about stress relief at another time. But again, relax. Who relaxes in this day and time? You have to schedule it. Soak in a hot bath and just feel the stress away, melt away. And we used to know that, there was a commercial years ago, and you're probably not old enough, but it was Calgon, just lay in a Calgon bath and your just stress will go away. But about after 15 minutes and you soak in a tub, your body and your mind will become refreshed. Something I do is a reward is I will put in bubble bath, a nice healthy bubble bath, and throw maybe a little Epsom salts in it to help with impurities and toxins. I will put a candle on, a beautiful candle that smells delicious. It's a healthy candle. I'll put on relaxing music, and that's my treat to myself. And you know what? It doesn't cost a whole lot to, go to a spa or do anything. Just do some little tips and some things for yourself. Um, and just be good to yourself. Be kind and loving to yourself. Again, focusing and just on stress relief, meditation can even permanently impact your brain for the better. And we've heard so many people talk about meditation, how, my brain just keeps going everywhere and I just try to stop and be still. But right now, I just want you just to, again, we're going to stop and we're just going to stop for a moment. I want you to breathe in. Breathe in a deep, relaxing form of breathing like you use in yoga. Just breathe in and breathe out. I used to say, breathe in, Jesus. Breathe out, thank you. But just doing that several times throughout the day can really help you to become recentered, to be able to stop and just release. It not only helps you in relaxation, but it also helps oxygenate your body, which again keeps the brain healthy. The better the oxygen goes, the better the body goes. And so just thinking about those times when you can just stop and breathe and just let things go. And if something's really bugging you and it keeps coming back and bugging you, again, I encourage you just to stop for a moment and ask yourself. Remember, we talk to ourselves all the time. If you don't believe me, just be quiet for a moment and you can hear it. But anyways, just stop. And if something's really bugging you, just ask yourself, is this something I have control over or not? And if you do have control over it and you feel overwhelmed, please ask for help. Ask somebody just to, even if they need to be a sounding board and just be able to let you release. But if you have no control over it and it's not your responsibility, then I really encourage you to practice releasing and letting it go and not taking it back. Plan to have some fun. Have fun in life. And again, yes, you have to plan it. Sometimes we can be spontaneous and it just comes about, and that's great. But you know what? We usually have to schedule it in. Take time away from work and family responsibilities and just enjoy life. Just go out and enjoy looking at nature. Just enjoy just being, if it's raining, be silly. Go out and walk in the rain if you want to. Walk barefooted in the rain if you want to. But you know what? You have to be able to learn again to find joy in all that you do, because there is so much that is bombarding us all day long. So we have to be able to look for those areas to find joy and think positively. I mean, you know what? You can't think negative and positive at the same time. And we've mentioned it before. It takes 7 positives to overcome every one negative we either say to ourselves or we've heard somebody. So remember, you can smile and laugh. And you know what? You can't really, I can smile and have tears of joy and happiness. I can smile and have tears of sadness sometimes. But when we just stop and just, laugh about the silly things. Oh my gosh, I laughed about something yesterday, which is so silly for me. And I thought about it later on. I thought somebody else probably wouldn't have thought that was silly, but it just hit me. It hit my funny bone and just made me laugh out loud. Getting enough sleep is another way to protect that brain. Again, we want to help to reduce those stress levels. Get a massage. That's my favorite treat every, several months, and just get those tensions, those impurities, and all those things to help be worked out of our muscles. So let's talk a little bit about nutrition for our brain. So number one thing, Mom used to always tell us, fish is brain food. And she was right. Fish is one of the best types of brain food, especially if it's salmon, trout, tuna, herring, and some of the sardines, which are rich in the sources of omega-3 fatty acids. And so since about 60% of your brain is made of fat, and half of that fat is comprised of omega-3 fatty acids, you might as well get that omega-3 fatty acids into your body. And your brain uses that to build nerve cells and brain cells. And they're essential for learning and for our memory. Again, omega-3s also offer several additional benefits for your brain. And one other thing, they may slow the age-related mental decline down and help ward off Alzheimer's disease. And so on the flip side of not getting enough omega-3s, it's also linked with impairments as well as depression. Some research suggests that people who eat fish regularly tend to have more gray matter literally, into your brain. And that contains the most of our nerve cells that control decision making, memory, and emotions. But if you're allergic to or don't care for fish, there's always clean omega-3 supplements. Find out, research, and find out more about omega-3 supplements if you cannot eat fish. Again, great for your brain in a lot of different areas. Another one is coffee and green tea. We've heard a lot of things, and this is not overdosing it, but caffeine and have great antioxidants in it that can support the brain. And so they have great effects as far as increased alertness, and also a little bit of caffeine keeps your brain alert by blocking adenosine, which is a chemical messenger that makes you feel sleepy. It also may boost some of your feel-good neurotransmitters, such as dopamine. And one study even found that caffeine consumption led to short-term improvements in attention and alertness. And they were going through a cognitive test when they were doing this testing. So drinking coffee and green tea over the long term is also linked to the reduced risk of neurological diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So here we go. To all this information, we're going to stop for just a minute of fun again. So this is a joke, and I will speak slowly with my Southern accent, even though some people might think I speak really slow anyways. But how are coffee beans like kids? How are coffee beans like kids? They're always getting grounded. Kids wouldn't understand that. Okay, back to some great nutritional things. Blueberries. Blueberries are great health benefits, including some that are specific for your brain. Blueberries and other deeply colored berries deliver anthocyanins and also a group of plant compounds with anti-inflammatory and antioxidants effects. We always love learning about antioxidants because they also fight against oxidative stress and inflammation. That's a double whammy with that one. And conditions that can contribute to brain and aging, neurodegenerative diseases, but some of those antioxidants in blueberries have been found to accumulate, now this is interesting, accumulate in the brain and help improve communication between brain cells. So another check mark for blueberries. So turmeric. Turmeric has something in it called and it's a fun way to say it, curcumin, and it's an active ingredient in turmeric, but it's been shown to cross the blood barrier in our brain, meaning that it can directly enter the brain and benefit the cells there. It's a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compound that has been linked to a lot of brain benefits. Curcumin may improve memory in people with Alzheimer's. It also may help clear amyloid plaque that are the hallmark of that disease. Curcumin boosts serotonin and dopamine, both of which improve mood. And one review found that curcumin could improve symptoms of depression, anxiety when used alongside a standard treatment that people who were diagnosed with depression. Curcumin boosts brain-derived neurotropic factors. It's a type of growth hormone that helps brain cells grow. It may help delay age-related mental decline. But keep in mind that most studies use highly concentrated curcumin supplements. in doses ranging from 500 to 2,000 milligrams per day. So, while adding turmeric to your food may be beneficial, you may need to use curcumin supplement. And again, I encourage you to find out where it is sourced, how it is tested, and the potency of it. Broccoli is another one that contains a number of great, powerful antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects. And guess what? You don't have to eat all these and consume all these, but just be mindful of including these into your diet choices. So just, a lot of us do take incredibly great supplements that can cover some of this, but these are some things that you might just want to pass on, especially to your children, about, broccoli. It's got great anti-inflammatory, including vitamin K, which is something that a lot of people don't get enough of. Vitamin D, vitamin K, all those things. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in many micronutrients that are important for our brain function, including copper, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Those minerals are so important. And pretty much, in this day and time, our food sources are pretty depleted in a lot of vitamins and minerals. So we do have to supplement with something, but just make sure that you know, again, where it is coming from, how it is tested, and where it's, even where it is compounded. Another one that all you girls and gentlemen are going to love is dark chocolate and cocoa. Cocoa powder packed with a few brain-boosting compounds, including flavonoids, a little caffeine, and antioxidants. The flavonoids in chocolate may also help protect the brain. Studies that suggest eating especially dark chocolate could boost both memory and mood. I know in the company that I am part of, we have a happy brain chocolate, and it's a dark chocolate, but it also has an amino acid that crosses the blood barrier of the brain and helps to make your brain happier. Eating nuts can improve heart health markers, and having a healthy heart is linked to having a healthy brain. So a lot of times we're talking about food choices. Sometimes people might have some digestive challenges and they may not be able to eat nuts. So just thinking about making some other choices. I think it's fun because one of the best nuts for our brain is walnuts. And to me, a walnut looks like a brain. So walnuts are very healthy, especially for your brain health. So just make sure that you are doing what is good for you. There was a study that was back in 2014 that found that women who ate nuts regularly over the course of several years had a sharper memory compared with those who did not eat nuts. So if you enjoy eating nuts, continue enjoying your nuts, especially some good raw nuts too. It doesn't have to all be salted or coated with something, but eat nuts as close to nature as you can. Again, there are some great brain supplements, but make sure, that you are checking out, finding some information on them, because there is so much information out there, but do your due diligence and do your own research. We just came out with a new brain elixir for improving short-term focus and long-term brain health. And if you want to have more information about that, I'll be more than happy to share. So again, I have really enjoyed our time and thank you for being with us. I am Nancy White, a 30-plus year researcher and health advisor and living a natural preventative lifestyle. Be blessed and remember to take care of your temporary temple until you receive your permanent maintenance-free one. Get in touch with me, Nancy White, and you can go to my website, The Healthy Sales Chick, and you can have a complimentary 30-minute time with me. It's all about you. And you can also just look at some other things that may be of interest to you. And please check out our great community of Win-Win Women TV for other great shows to help support you amazing ladies. We are so grateful again that you came and that you've had some time with us. And I hope you've learned a couple of tidbits and a couple of things that have been beneficial to you. So until the next time, see you soon.